Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. In this video I'm going to be using my HexInnovate GS911 to switch the dash on my 2020 BMW R1250GS. I know this sounds a bit daft, but I thought I'd try it. One of the new features they brought out for the GS911 is to switch the GS dash from the conventional yellow one that you might have seen if you've seen one of these bikes to the one with like the blue sort of cross the way sports rev counter that you get on the XR. I know that seems a bit daft as a thing to try, but I think it looks quite good. I'm just going to give it a go for my next trip. I know you can put it in track mode where you get all sorts of things like real-time lean. I'll be honest, I ride this bike pretty much sitting upright, so I don't know how much use I actually have for that, but I'm just curious to try it. And I know these devices are becoming pretty popular. For those of you who have switched from something sportier to something like this and you're curious to know what you can do with it, maybe this is useful. I'm pretty sure this also works on all the other bikes that have a dash like this, also on the 1300s, I believe, the new ones. Anyway, here we go. Now, I already took the side cover off my bike, which would have been here. It was the one screw through there. It lifts up on that rubber bung and that one in there. I'm not going to do that again. If you want to see that, check out my video where I successfully programmed just my front wheel new tyre pressure sensor. So that's the ODB connector. Take my GS911, plug that in there. Hopefully we'll get some lights and then we'll get a beep. There we go, that's that connected to the Wi-Fi. Right, everything else is pretty much going to be on the phone. Now before I do that, I'm going to show you what the dash looks like at the moment. So this is the standard GS dash at startup. You get the lights around the outside, you get this GS logo, you get my ABS Pro thing, and then you get the dash like that, which is, you know, pretty enough. If I start it up, I don't know if you can still hear me, but you get the yellow up and into the red. That's quite enough of that. If you didn't hear any of that, I was just pointing out the yellow going into the red. Right then, we'll now check out the phone and you can see what the settings are to make this change. There we go. That's not the finest way, I'm sure, to share a phone screen, but it'll do. I'm going to go to motorcycle, go to my GS911 app. From the home screen, I go to detected vehicle, then I go to instrument cluster, then I go service functions, and then I go coding functions. And in here, I have this rather cool menu. So for example, startup animation. I can have a GS, the GT, the XR, so you can have the RR. I can have the, yeah, basically anything really. So I'm going to go for the M logo, make life a ride, just for something a little bit different. And that is now set. Okay, so it says the controller coding completed successfully. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is go to coding functions, and then I'm also going to go to the sports screen. So in here, so display theme is current adventure. I'm going to switch that to sport. Live lean angle, go on, we'll have that turned on. Max lean angle, that is going to be depressing, but I'll have that on. Do I want the live brake display? Sure, why don't I just turn everything on? I can always turn it off again. Okay, so now that is done. Shall we see what else we've got? So I'm not going to change these other things, but just looking down the other things you could do would be to change your units. There is a lap screen racetrack settings, which sounds very exciting. Trying tapping yes. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave that turned off for now. I think it's unlikely that I'm going to be actually using my racetrack mode, but I could turn on the settings menu just to see what's in there. I think that is probably enough. I'll just let that program, and then what I'm going to do is going to show you the bike. Okay, so that's all done. Phone off. Now, when I turn on the bike, I get a different screen. I get the BMW Motorrad Make Life a Ride with the M logo, so that was the startup animation. And now I have this screen, which I think for those of you that have seen an XR, we'll know how that looks. I won't let it run for that long. I mean, the base screen is pretty much the same. It's pretty similar. It's just a different layout for the rev counter. Now the sports screen that I enabled, if I go into the menus, I get my vehicle, go across one, and I have sport, and then I press down on the left button. I now get the sports screen where I have the different rev counter. I have my lean angles, I have my braking, I have my dynamic traction control. So yeah, I mean, it's a novelty. It's not really needed for anything, but I think it looks quite fun. so I'm going to leave it turned on. So that's it. That is my video on how to set the sport dash on a BMW R1250GS. I think the same pretty much applies to any of the bikes that have this same sort of dash, and there's about, well, there's a few you can choose from. Same with those startup screens. I think there was maybe 6 or 7 in total. If that appeals and you have one of these and you want to give it a go, then yeah, I definitely recommend it. I initially got the GS911 for diagnosing faults on the bike, but I must admit a lot of these extra little features that they've added do seem to be rather interesting. Anyway, I hope that has been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content and maybe I will see you there. Thanks for watching.